Hello, welcome back. We're going to do a little shooting of bows today, and I'm going to show you some of the advantages and disadvantages of a crossbow versus a regular compound bow. Me and Evan are going to be shooting both, and we're going to get right to this thing. All right, well, there's one advantage to a crossbow. A crossbow will never do that when you're holding it wrong.
I held it right.
Obviously not. First, we're going to start out with Evan shooting his Parker Inferno. We're big Parker fans. And this bow he got new last year. It shoots 320 feet per second. It's a very accurate bow, easy to draw, lightweight, just a great bow. Now, one of the disadvantages people will tell you is you have to hold a regular compound bow until you get a clear shot at whatever it is you're going to shoot at. And if you hold it too long, you get a little shaky and it's a little bit harder to hit with. Now, here's one of the advantages that a standard compound bow has over a crossbow, any crossbow. When you go to shoot at an animal, if you miss with a standard bow, you can get off a second shot many times because the bow is relatively quiet and you can reload it and fire it again with minimal movement out in the tree. Yeah, he's moving around, but you have to do a whole lot more dancing with a crossbow. And cocking a crossbow in a tree is no easy task. So there's 2 kill shots out the door in a matter of about 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. And we'll show you how long it takes with a crossbow. So that's pretty much shooting a regular bow. Now for shooting a crossbow, and this is a Parker Tomahawk. Now they're the Parker Thunderhawk. Loading one of these things takes a little bit of doing. Hook up your cocking mechanism, cock it, put that somewhere, get your arrow out and load it. Now you're ready to fire it. Now here's the one big advantage that a crossbow has over a regular bow. When you go to shoot it, safety off, you can hold it as long as you want, as long as you need to, till you're ready to shoot it. All right, now I want to give you an example of the advantages that a compound bow has over the crossbow. We're each going to act like there's a deer out in front. We're going to take a shot, pretend we missed it, reload as quietly as we can, with as little movement as we can, and fire another shot. And you'll see, pay attention to the noise of the compound bow versus the crossbow, and also pay attention to where the shots go. Or I guess I should say, really, when the shots go. All right, ready? Okay, go ahead. Three shots versus 2 shots, faster, quieter, with a lot less movement, and he didn't have to worry about falling out of the tree. So one of the other advantages I think a compound bow has over a crossbow is when you see him draw, the bow is going to stabilize a lot easier and be a lot steadier while he holds it on target to get ready to shoot. So with a crossbow, the way it's weighted with a center about right here, it makes it a little harder to hold steadier. And the other camera on board is going to show it a little bit better. But it's a lot harder to hold it up steady for a shot at a distance than if you're using a rest. Still a dead deer, but it's a lot better to use a rest when you can with a crossbow. All right, so we've talked about some disadvantages with the crossbow. How about the primary advantage with a crossbow? Crossbow's always drawn and ready to fire, so you don't have the drawing motion. When a deer sneaks up on you, All you have to do is get the crossbow in position to take the shot, and you can hold it as long as you need it. That's your primary advantages. I'm now at 40 yards. Start this other camera up, and I'll show you a 40-yard shot. And you can hold it as long as you want. If I had a regular compound was holding this draw, I'd be shaking like a leaf in a minute or so. There you go, 40 yards, dead center. Another advantage a crossbow has over a compound bow is when you're shooting sitting down, a regular compound bow, when you draw it, your body's geometry is totally different. The muscles work differently, and if you're overbowed, it can be very difficult to draw the bow while you're sitting down. If you got your bow weight set right, it's not a big deal, but it is an advantage that the crossbow has. And any of you guys have a compound bow, better practice sitting down. So that's some primary advantages and disadvantages for both the crossbow and the compound bow. Guys, the most important thing you need to know is you need to know your equipment. When you get either one of these, spend the time at your range or at home, with a bag target preferably, shooting arrows into it at different distances. Know your bow. That's the most important thing you can do. The game deserves it. Now again, the bows we used were a Parker Tomahawk, which is now called the Thunderhawk, and a Parker Inferno compound bow. Both of them average around 320 feet per second, so you have no speed advantage there. The range is about the same. Within a few feet, you can't tell the difference in shooting them. I can shoot this bow out to 80 yards. Evan can shoot this bow out to about 60. With a little more practice, he could get out to 82. But it's not fair to shoot at game at that distance because deer will duck an arrow. And if you haven't seen that, search it. Hit Google and search deer ducking arrows. It'll blow your mind. Much past about 40 yards, you really should let that deer walk and wait for another day. Now make sure you hit that subscribe button down there. Check out some of my other videos while you're here. The thumbs up like button sure would be nice. And make sure you share this on your social media. That's the best compliment you can give me. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time.